What's going on, everyone? We have some pretty big releases from some of the action camera companies. Today we have the GoPro Max 2. Are they finally back from the dead? We'll find out today. And also, we have DJI with their Osmo Nano, and this is a camera that competes with the Ultra Go series. I've created some lists, what you can expect between each of these cameras and what is the best option for you to pick at this current moment. Okay, so let's first get into the promo video for the GoPro Max 2, and then we're going to move on to the Osmo Nano shortly. Okay, let's go, guys. All right, this is it.
Captain, we've recorded abnormal signals of an unknown entity within 1,000 feet of the ship. Wait. This can't be. It's disappeared.
So this whole 8K thing is, don't be entirely set on getting 8K out of the action camera. I'm just going to say that before I move further into this, that 8K is definitely more like at least like 5K, or sorry, at the most 5K. So I don't know where they're getting this 21% more resolution, but so far looks so good. Looks okay. Replaceable lenses, huge. I think just the overall ease of use factor with this will be massive in regards to usability. I mean, because I think the Insta X5, it takes a bit to do and is a little bit of a more time consuming procedure, and the DJI Osmo 360 has non-replaceable lenses. That was a crazy promo video. That was one of the best promo videos I've watched in quite some time. Okay, let's look at some of the comparisons now between these cameras and what is going on here? I just had it. Why do you do this to me? Oh, Apple. Sometimes the way that their computers work, I really don't like what happens here sometimes, where they just likes to just disappear in my screen here. Okay, so I have some comparisons now between these two cameras. We have the Insta360 at $550 US. GoPro Max 2 released today at only $499, and that is a competitor with okay. And that competes directly with the DJI Osmo 360. They have lowered the price to $502 in Canada. The price of the DJI Osmo 360, I believe, is the cheapest though, at only around $610. Looking at video resolution, all are 8K. The video resolution goes up to 4K 120 though on the Osmo 360, but I'm not sure you're going to want to be shooting in 4K really on a 360 camera due to the loss of resolution. We're going to look more into these sensors and how they compare shortly. Photo resolution, DJI wins on that one, although they're missing different things like bracketing, which could be definitely useful for things and applications like real estate. Battery life looks like DJI still wins on that. The Insta360 apparently has 6 built-in microphones, so we'll see what that looks like or what that sounds like shortly. Insta360 has the best battery life, but I found that replacing and changing these batteries on these, the Osmo 360, I found to be really easy. And I mean, battery life is not really a big deal, especially when the cost of these batteries is so cheap. You can pick up like a few on AliExpress for only like $20, and that's pretty good value in my opinion. So the GoPro Max is a little bit cheaper and also a little lighter. I think the 360 DJI is around 180 grams. This is 154. So if you want better audio, probably go with the Max 2. And if you want lighter, Max 2. They have a pretty good editing software system, I would imagine, compared to the Osmo 360, who's just starting out. And then also the Insta360, they have a better, they have quite a bit of better of a editing system currently. And I would definitely pick their software over probably both the companies, but I'd say that GoPro probably still squeaks ahead over DJI's new DJI Studio. So really, they're all pretty close and comparable. DJI has better slow motion, so maybe that might be where you want to end up. But let's go back into more videos of this, and we're going to get into the Osmo Nano. I should mention as well, there are some affiliate links in the description. Please check them out. I would appreciate if you bought through my link. It would really help with my day-to-day work on this channel. So going over to now GoPro's website. I was really impressed with this promo video that they released. It was actually, in my opinion, pretty well made, although I would not necessarily trust that you're going to get the exact same quality as they are due to the possibility of doing things like upscaling. And these are professionals that are working on this stuff to try and market the product to its best ability. So keep that in mind. Rarely will you be able to match the quality that they're offering. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. This is why you have professionals come and do this stuff. But yeah, some of the shots that we've seen here look really nice. This replaceable lens system looks really nice and easy to do. I wonder what is the cost of these lenses. So, okay, let's see. GoPro. Let's see. Really curious what the price of that will be. So, looks like you'll be spending is that 25 or $31 Canadian. Looks like on their website you can get it for $25. I think there's a subscription option where you get them for only $12.49. So I believe that may be this is the GoPro Max 1. Huh. But I would expect these lenses to be about the exact same amount. So overall, not too expensive. They're not gonna kill you cost wise, but that is a pretty big advantage over a camera like the Osmo 360 camera, where you have to send it in. And I believe in the US they're not actually accepting repairs. I've heard of some drama and whatnot that's went on with that. So look into it based on the region you're in. Oh, I had no problem buying DJI Care for my 360 DJI in Canada. Overall, pretty nice. Yeah, I think the footage looked great from this. Go on to some comparisons now between these 360 cameras.
Is finally here, but is the wait really worth it? In this video, you wouldn't see lifestyle montage, no influencer on surfboards, no crazy stunt reel, and no hot girls.
Oh, man, do that.
Uh-oh, your butt shot. Whoopsie!
You better not use that.
Whoopsies! Whoopsies! Okay, hot dog maybe. What you will see is a straight up technical breakdown, image quality test.
It's going to be really interesting to see the temperature comparisons between the two, or between all three.
A bit of a bummer. Now, there are already ton of reviews on the internet talking about how the Mac with adaptive tone,
I just want to see some video footage.
the lowest quality lens with the HEVC setting. So if you judge the focal chart, my iPhone.
Looking at all the images now. What do you think is best? I think the X5 maybe has a bit of an advantage, and also the 360 probably the DJI. Oh my. Oh, so confusing. The naming
has the best image quality. Even in the 0.5 zoom, the lowest quality lens with the HEVC setting. So if you just shoot to the video.
But yeah, having something like the iPhone, I think this is the 16 Pro that he's using. It's going to beat it for overall sharpness any day.
For social media, you really do not need a 360 camera. Don't let the 8K number fool you. The 8K number means your full 360 views. Reframe is cropping the magic window, smaller part of the full 360 frame. So you are getting around 180p at best. So if you only do
this is what I was really trying to explain earlier, is that don't look directly at that number and think that that's exactly what you're getting, because it's really not the case.
Even 20p-ish video on social media is just asking people to skip. If you are an artist or influencer, bad image quality is a kiss of death in the world of high quality video.
I think for a lot of people, just your iPhone will be a better alternative compared to one of these 360 cameras, especially with the workflow. I think a lot of people get into 360 cameras and they're not really aware of just how much work it actually is. For example, I had the DJI Osmo 360 that I ended up returning due to I would frame the shots in the DJI Studio app, and then after framing the shots, I would bring it into DaVinci Resolve, thinking that I could use those clips that had been trimmed. Unfortunately, it wouldn't allow me to create separate clips of the footage, and then I had to retrim it back in DaVinci Resolve. And then on top of that, I had a pretty big loss in quality by double exporting the footage, because in DJI there's no lossless export. So you're double exporting, and then you're also bringing it onto YouTube, and YouTube is crushing it with their compression as well. So it's rough, man. It's really rough. I can't say that I recommend DJI Osmo 360 because of this, especially if you're using it outside of the DJI Studio app and you want to bring it into like a larger timeline. Anyways, that's enough of that. Let's go.
Or AI. So we can comfortably take out the original GoPro Max as well, that leave only the 8K 360 camera, which most of you already know how to use and have good reason to use it. either for immersive 360 filmmaking or capturing those impossible reframe angle in action sports. Looking at all 4 cameras at full 8K without zoom in, they all look relatively the same. So if you already own one, you are fine. Don't get FOMO and chase the latest and the greatest. Focus on learning better with Max to capture more pixel and more data than DJI Osmo 360 or Insta 360 X5. You might have heard this explanation a lot from 100 megabit per second. They are much easier to replace. You don't need to do any calibration. The real question is, how good is the flare resistant with these replaceable lenses? Let's take a look. You can clearly see several spots where the Max 2 introduced nasty lens flare that just don't exist on the DJI Osmo 360. So I might be the only person on the internet who's not a fan of the whole replaceable lens gimmick. A tighter lens module with fewer layers will always be optically better than stacking an extra.
Yeah, so seems like DJI Osmo 360 wins probably the best, or like it's probably the best in regards to overall quality of image. I really did think that it looked good shooting on it. It's just all the issues with their software that if you can get past that, I think you'd really like the 360 DJI. But yeah, there's just too many limitations for me. And I did think that the flares on the camera looked really good. The way that the coatings worked, I thought it looked nice and cinematic. And I liked my footage if I wasn't double compressing it by exporting it that way.
Layer just for protection. And in this case, I think the DJI Osmo 360 definitely win the lens flare test. So visually, the GoPro Max 2 looks better than the Insta 360 X5 pure video mode and DJI Osmo 360 latest Super Night mode, which now support enhanced
They're all pretty
8K
close to one
30
another,
frames per
eh?
second. In standard lighting, the GoPro already showed more noise, but the X5 in pure video mode looks very strange with lots of aliasing artifacts. Personally, I prefer the noisier but much more natural looking of the footage on the GoPro. DJI Osmo 360 in Super Night mode though looked the best. Then we turn off the main light source and switch to LEDs only to recreate that nightclub or music festival look. Very noisy.
I really think though, if you're recording at nighttime, just use your phone. I don't think you need a 360 camera. 360 footage at nighttime, just use your iPhone. Probably would be much better.
50 frames per second. This make it the new 1 foot. The Insta 360 X5 with its AI stitching is still the winner. But once you move beyond the arm length, past the 1 foot mark, the GoPro Max 2 actually does better. You start to see stitching artifact in both the X5 and to stitching at a distance. But to be fair, all 3 are very good.
Now this is something that has plagued GoPro throughout the years. I think one of the reasons why a lot of people actually stopped using their cameras is just due to the fact that they overheat like crazy. Place like where I'm from in Canada, it's probably not a huge issue, but in places like Southeast Asia or wherever, even like if it's just summertime, you could really run into issues. So a lot of people have kind of moved on from the company due to them not performing all that well in regards to heat management or heat dissipation.
So we start the camera. As you see, GoPro Max 2 is about 113 Fahrenheit. Insta 360 is 107 X5. And DJI is 106, or I should calibrate. 120. This is 127. So even just after like 5 minutes of filming, GoPro Max temperature rise higher than DJI Osmo 360 and definitely higher than the Insta 360 X5. So we need to see like, how good is the heat. Oh shit.
Oh, wow. The DJI shut off first. Crazy.
So actually, we just did the overheat test, and the GoPro Max just shut down around like 20-ish minute. So we are in California. Summer is almost over. We are in the beginning of fall, but it's still pretty hot. As you see, I'm wearing a short sleeve. It's a hot day today. So it's a kind of a standard, average testing environment. And that does a little bit concern me because, I mean, the GoPro Max overheats so fast. And DJI does overheat before GoPro Max, but instead of shutting the recording, they shut the screen down by forcing it. So you concern like more energy, but also like better heat distribution. So the X5 screen did not shut off, did not get overheat warning, just keep rolling like champ. So in the heat distribution side of thing, I think the
X5 wins for heat
compared to the X5 and the Osmo Tour, just like the Insta X5. The bad news is a brand new DaVinci Resolve reframe plugin for Fusion. It can reframe all 360 video, not just footage from the GoPro Max 2. I will go into more detail in the upcoming tutorial. As I mentioned earlier, in dual fish.
So it's interesting about this DJI plugin. I didn't hear about that until I actually returned my DJI 360. So that is interesting. I'm curious how well that works. I would assume that there's probably not AI tracking like you did get in the DJI app. So, well, for Mac users, I'm not sure if Windows users have encountered that yet.
Per second support in 8-bit recording, ProRes export, and GoPro Lab option make it a serious tool for workflow in DaVinci Resolve and Adobe Premiere. One more advantage though, pricings. It is $499. About clear pixel, accurate color, portability, and post-production flexibility.
All right, so these are some sample images now that we have. Looks pretty good. I'm not really too big on 360 cameras for photography, but I mean, it's definitely nice to have, especially if you want to cover that super wide angle of view. Overall, not too bad. Looks good, but it's all very much the same between all three cameras. Not a huge difference. I think most people would be better off with probably just using their phone, if I'm being honest. But if you need it, there it is. Okay, going on now to the Osmo Nano. This just came out today, and this is a competitor of the Insta 360 Go. And that was just released, I believe, a few months ago or like a month ago. I'm not sure exactly, but let's get into it now. The promo video.
But it's the small things that matter most.
Come on, let's go!
Meet DJI Osmo Nano, our most portable camera ever. Equipped with a 1/1.3-inch sensor, Nano allows you to capture remarkable sharp images in vivid detail.
Yo, check this out. Dude, this glacier out here is absolutely incredible.
Capture every moment with strong low light capability and high dynamic range. And see it all with 143-degree field of view.
That's a big one.
When your adventure gets a little bumpy,
This bridge is gnarly.
Nano's advanced stabilization keeps your footage smooth by eliminating shakes and jitters.
She's uploaded this only in
The
1080.
dual-sided magnetic design makes mounting
No 4K.
easier than ever.
All right, let's go drive this thing.
Get superior sound with Osmo Audio direct microphone connection.
This car feels amazing.
What do you think we're gonna see, sweetie? Oh my goodness!
Waterproof up to 10 meters, Osmo Nano is ready for any adventure.
This is cool.
Level things out with Nano's horizon balancing and capture every detail with up to 120 frames per second in full 4K.
So sick!
See a billion colors with 10-bit color and D-Log M. Ready when you are. Simply tap to start auto recording with Osmo Nano. Enjoy up to 200 minutes of uninterrupted shooting on one charge. Running short on time? Get 80% charged in just 20 minutes.
There's a major downside to this onboard memory inside this camera that you're going to want to hear my comparison for when I compare this with the Insta360, because it could be a huge deal breaker for a lot of you.
Switch between horizontal and vertical shooting with ease. Nano's Vision Dock serves as a high-quality display, a remote photo trigger, and a high-speed file transfer hub.
Come on, team. Let's go. Woo. Testing out the new camera. This thing is legit.
So what do we think about that? Video looked pretty good. I still think that I liked the GoPro Max video a little more. If you go back in the video, I reviewed that pretty well off the start. Now, going into these two cameras, there's one major thing that you're going to deal with in regards to this Osmo Nano. So it has internal memory, which is nice. It comes in 64 and 128 gigabytes. But the real issue with this Osmo Nano is that once you fill up the memory card, so with the 64, you'll probably have to fill up like maybe 15-20% of the space with the different firmwares and whatnot. So you're not going to get the full 64, and then you're limited when shooting the video to only that 64 gigabytes internal memory in the small camera portion. Now, why this is bad is because you can easily fill that up. I have some numbers here with how long that will take. It looks like you can, sorry, I'm just trying to find exact numbers here. I think it's like around 35 minutes, or sorry, whoa. I had this all looked up. I think it's around 35 minutes of 4K footage that you'll get when shooting on the 64 gigabyte model until you have to unload the data onto your camera. So that could be really time consuming, and you'll have to just completely put the camera on the wayside. Whereas with the Insta Go, you actually have internal SD on the camera, which will really help you to stay in the scene and keep on shooting. So DJI has internal memory, but it creates a massive limitation that could really cause you some potential headaches, because you have a camera now that you're not able to use because you need to offload that data. So I would really recommend to go for the 128 gigabyte model, and I actually have links for that in the description for Amazon US and Amazon Canada. And Amazon US actually has it, surprisingly. This was one of the releases that actually made it onto the platform. Go now back into some comparison videos. This one is with the Insta360 comparison.
What's up, guys? I'm Ben from Authentic. This is my big camera comparison test of the new DJI Osmo Nano versus the Insta360 Go Ultra. Which one is the best tiny action camera out right now? Let's find out. Here are 20 pros and cons and key differences that you should know. By the end, you can decide which one has the most bang for your buck. Quick disclosure, big shout out to DJI. It's slightly larger and is paired with a 5 nanometer AI chip and an ambient light sensor.
So the Insta360 has a larger sensor, and it is actually a larger camera. It's funny because I've seen so many comments online mentioning how massive DJI is. I really think the bots are out there fighting for each of these companies today. But although I honestly think Insta360 has a few more bots out there fighting to try and sway some sales away from this DJI, especially considering they have released it at $150 less. The DJI has, so it's pretty big. It's a pretty big difference in cost.
Sensor. The Osmo Nano is 1/1.3-inch CMOS, so it's a tiny difference, but technically the Go Ultra has the edge. For image quality across a wide variety of ratios and frame rates, they both look very good and very similar in my opinion. In 4K 30 16:9, the Go Ultra looked wider, but then switched to 4K 60 and the Osmo Nano looks wider.
New views, new memories. No passport required.
Not interested, Verbo.
Unplug in.
4K 30 4:3, a tad wider on the DJI, and then 4K 120 wider on the DJI again. Quick photo comparison.
So DJI a little wider.
The Go Ultra can shoot up to around 50 megapixels, and the Osmo Nano is around 35 megapixels. The Go Ultra looks to have a little bit wider field of view, and I also prefer its highlight control, especially up there in like the blue skies. There's a bit more details maintained. As for color and sharpness, I'd say both sides look good, and even when I zoom way in, clarity is very close tie on both. Number 2, low light and HDR. The Nano has super night mode.
Before I forget, I will mention that I do have a new site that will be releasing some read-ups, and we're going to go over some of the comparisons that I made today if you prefer just reading those comparisons there.
Mode, and Go Ultra has pure video mode, both intended to help when shooting in low light. In these sample clips, they both look super close again. Very similar skin tone, saturation, maybe slight differences on the edge distortion, but there's a lot more similarities than differences, and that honestly surprised me. Throughout this whole...
I should mention as well, I have released my X100 V6 versus Fuji X-M5 video. Please watch that, give it some views, give it some love, people. I'd love to see you there.
Whole edit, I had to keep triple checking my source clips to make sure that nothing was mixed up. Both sides look really nice. Number 3, frame rates and slow motion. The Nano does 4K 120 FPS. The Go Ultra can only do 4K 60. If you want to get up to 120 FPS, you got to step down to 2.7K. And then if you want 240 FPS, both of them can do that at 1080p. So for high resolution, slow motion, especially at that 4K 120, big win to the Nano. Number 4, stabilization. In 4K 30 4:3 with stabilization set high on both, the diagonal field of view looked very close. Maybe a bit wider on the Nano, but the Go Ultra looked a touch smoother to my eye. Number 5.
There's really not that much difference. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
The size, weight, and ergonomics. Both are quite a bit chunkier than the early minis, but still smaller than a standard action camera. The weights are very similar. The Nano is about 52 grams, the Go Ultra is 53. The Nano plus dock is 123 grams, the Go Ultra plus dock is 161. And a quick side note, I really miss those days of the tiny size of the original Go cams. They were so small, lightweight, cute and tiny. They're inconspicuous to wear, easier to mount in those tiny places. I get it though, because people wanted better battery life and higher resolution, and then you're gonna need to go up in size, so there's a trade-off. Number 6, controls and screens. The Go Ultra Action Pod has a flip-up touchscreen and a vibration haptic motor, great for framing and menus. The Nano screen module clips onto the bottom and can face forward or backward, and the interface is clean and simple. So basically both of them can shoot in selfie mode with a screen looking back at you. It's just a different way of going about it. And a side note, when the camera is outside of the dock, screen response time felt very similar, maybe a few milliseconds faster on the Nano. Number 7, playback when disconnected. A big win for the Insta360 Go Ultra. We can play back clips on the camera even when it's not attached to the screen module. That's super
All right, how are
helpful
you
when
doing,
it's
everyone?
tucked away or
What do we
mounted
think so
somewhere.
far
As of
about
right
this?
now, the Nano needs to be attached to the dock in order to play back your footage or connect to the app. Number 8, storage. The DJI Osmo Nano ships with built-in storage, either 64 gigs or 128 gigs depending on the model, and then it also has a micro SD slot in the dock. The Insta360 Go Ultra records directly to the micro SD up to 2 terabytes, but has no built-in memory. Number 9, storage workflow. For the DJI, you're always recording to the built-in storage, docked or not, and then later, if you need to clear out space in the field, you can export those files to
So
the
this is the major concern that I had with this camera here when it comes to this space management. I think it's something to really not overlook. I would definitely go with the larger storage version over the smaller one. It's not necessarily worth it to save money if you're not able to use this camera. I really recommend you go for the larger storage version on the Nano, because having to offload it is going to be really time consuming and you could miss some shots because of this.
SD card. With the Insta360, it records directly to the micro SD with no extra storage in the dock. If you need more space, then you're gonna need to swap cards or offload to your phone in a pinch. I can see the benefits to both sides. You guys gotta let me know down in the comments which one you prefer. I will say there have been multiple times when I'm out in the field and I hit record and I totally forgot the SD card, so having some built-in storage has definitely saved my hiney in the past. Number 10, battery life on the solo camera. In standalone use, the Nano did way better than the Go Ultra.
We are starting the day with full batteries on each.
For example, after 12 minutes of 4K recording, the Nano camera was down to 74% and the dock still at 100. The Go Ultra camera was about the same, 72%, but the dock was way down, almost 50% drained. So that brings me to number 11, battery with the dock. Both the Nano and the Go Ultra are rated to give around 2.
So I guess when I was mentioning the size difference between these two, yeah, I guess I see what people are saying in regards to the Insta360 Go being a smaller setup because they do stack within one another. It's actually a pretty brilliant design, the way they've done that. So yeah, it's a pretty good design, and I think for a lot of people maybe that would sway them as well. Just its overall footprint inside your pocket or bag or whatever.
200 minutes of recording time with the docks. Now, real world results were drastically different for me. After about 30 minutes of additional recording, the Insta360 Go Ultra Action Pod went dead on me and it wouldn't even turn on. The camera still had a little bit of juice, but I was really confused with what was going on. The Nano, by comparison, still had half on the camera and then almost full on the dock. All firmwares were up to date.
That's huge.
I'm not sure if I have a defective unit or hopefully maybe a firmware update will fix this. I'm not sure. I'll post all future updates down in a pinned comment. Check this out while I was filming the microphone section. It's dropping a percentage every 3 seconds or so. So
what?
That's not right.
Anything fun that happens in your ride.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that.
Scrape
I
it,
don't
ride
know.
through a sandstorm. The
Maybe
X5
he's a
can
bad
take it,
model.
and if something breaks, you just swap the lens, keep rolling.
Hey,
Shots
how's it
come out
going?
great even at high speed, especially at high speed. And wind noise is no longer an issue with the all-new wind guard.
I have looked at GoPro Max just a little bit ago. We
Number
can
12.
We can look back at it though. I reviewed this video here, and
Tons of reviews on
it looks
GoPro Max
pretty
2.
good in comparison with all the other ones, but there's not a huge difference between all three cameras.
Even in the
I
0.5
thought so
zoom,
far.
the lowest
What do you
quality
think?
lens with the HEVC setting. So if you just shoot to the video for social media, you really do not need a 260 camera. Don't let the AK number fool you. GoPro Max 2 in GoPro color looks the most accurate.
I don't know. There's really not a huge difference between all these cameras.
GoPro Max 2 is closer to reality. Now onto dynamic range. If
I think for overall image, I prefer, the DJI Osmo 360 over the Insta360 X5, and I think it's pretty similar actually to the GoPro Max.
you punch it on my face, you will see the strengths of GoPro. much better dynamic range and more detail in the shadow. The X5 get muddy in the shadow. DJI also lost shadow detail, but it's sharper overall. Surprisingly, the Cool Cam 3 Ultra, the camera most people don't. GoPro player even.
There was another test that he had done in this video as well, showing some of the flaring you get with the replaceable lenses on the GoPro Max 2. And it has some like weird stitching issues as well. So you can see it right here. So it's something to keep in mind. I do think that the DJI Osmo 360 still wins in regards to overall image quality. I think it's a better looking camera. And yeah, let me know, what else would you like to see? Oh, sorry, your name is too difficult to say. I don't want to botch it.
More on the GoPro latest super night mode.
I'd say that this the GoPro Max, yeah, looks good, but I think any of these cameras will work for you no matter what. No matter who you are, they're all so comparable, right? So it's not going to be a big game changer if you pick one or the other.
Does this sign make my head look big? Oh, hello there. Welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new GoPro Max 2. This is a 360 camera.
For some reason my mouse isn't working properly right now. That's great.
10-bit color and has a lot of really cool features. Not only that, it's got a really interesting form factor compared to the competition, like the Insta360 X5, which we'll also talk about in this video side by side. Okay, let's get into it. They launched the GoPro Max like 6 years ago. That original GoPro Max
Okay, let's go back into the Osmo Nano.
Charging speed. They both feature fast charging, and the DJI takes about 20 minutes to hit the 80% mark. The Go Ultra is about 12 minutes, so they say. Number 13, mount security. In my testing, the Nano felt a little bit more locked in. The Go Ultra had slight wiggle on the mount. To be fair, I think this might be because of an early unit tolerance issue. Simple fixes like this thin pad that ships with them, or maybe a tiny piece of gaffer's tape, it snugged it up tight. Number 14, mount ecosystem. The Go Ultra has a widely diverse accessory ecosystem. They have tons of sticks and clips and adapters. The DJI Nano system is a bit newer with fewer first-party options, although they do have a hat clip and the magnetic lanyard, suction cup ball mount, headband, and the GoPro adapter mount with 1/4-20 tripod mount. But I gotta give one extra point to the DJI because its magnetic mount system is the same across the board. So whether you've got their new 360 action camera or you've got their Action 5 Pro, 4, 3, whichever one it is, they all clip in, they all work, and I really like that. Unfortunately for the Insta360, their system does not match. So if I got the old Go, it does not work with the new Go Ultra. Their 360 X5 camera, it does not work. It's kind of a shame, and I wish it was just the same across the board. Number 15, orientation and aspect. Both the DJI and the Insta360, they use non-square sensors, so physical mounting dictates the portrait versus landscape. I wish both offered a square capture so we could choose the aspect ratio later in the software. Even 360 camera units themselves are rated to go down to 33 feet. The screen modules, though, are only IPX4 rated, so that's about splash only. I wouldn't be dunking the whole thing. Number 17, audio. Here's how the built-in microphones sound and compare. Audio. Here's how the
so
that's about splash only. I wouldn't be.
Okay, yeah. So the base model looks like it can only withstand splashing. Don't bring that underwater. Yeah, it's interesting.
Compare.
That
now
wouldn't
for a little
be waterproof.
audio test in comparison, we've got sirens and traffic noise going on behind me. We've got leaf blowers going on over there. There's a.
I really wonder how many people are going to be dunking theirs based on using other 360 cameras. Or different action cameras. They've been submergible for who knows how long to not be able to put this one underwater. Sure, some people are going to do it. I expect it won't be long until I see it.
Waterfall going on over there. And which one is sounding best? This is audio on the DJI Osmo Nano, and this is audio on the Insta360 Go Ultra. And then both camera systems support wireless mic systems, which I think is super cool. Here's how those sound. And this is a quick wireless mic test. This is the DJI audio, and this is the Insta360. Now the DJI connected right away. It's got 32-bit float. It usually just sounds really good. With the Insta360, the Bluetooth was being really finicky on me, had troubles even connecting it directly to the Go Ultra, so I actually had to use that USB receiver to even get this audio to work. What do you guys think? There's a loud robot vacuum going on in the background. Which one sounds best? Number 18 is the editing ecosystem. The Insta360 has a really good mobile app, which has a lot of templates and special effects. Their desktop app is really good. It's fast, efficient. I really like it. The DJI Mimo app for your phone, it's a lot simpler, not as many powerful controls, but it works. And they also have a desktop studio app that you can edit, preview your clips. You can put multiple down on the timeline. Sort of reminds me of like a CapCut. Number 19, anti-loss and tracking. The Go Ultra supports Apple Find My built in for the camera unit itself. So it's small. Let's say it knocks off while you're wearing it on your shirt. With Apple Find My, you can beep it, you can find it. It's a really cool feature. In the DJI Mimo app, you can make the Nano play a beeping tone to help you track it down nearby. And number 20 is real world reliability and heat. I was testing these guys outside. It was about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 4K 60, and unfortunately the DJI did hit an overheat moment and it stopped recording. However, then the Insta360, it kept rolling for a few more minutes and then it died, but due to other limits of that battery just getting drained so quickly. I'm gonna keep testing it, and again, all updates down below in a pinned comment. I even tried turning off the Wi-Fi, turning off.
Hello again, I'm Brandon Lee, and this video is going to be all about the new DJI Osmo Nano. What you've got here is a tiny action camera and a unique your framing while you shoot, and you can adjust all the camera settings as well. The Vision Dock doesn't have internal storage, but it does have a micro SD card slot.
For one day, we run together, so we can fund life-saving breast cancer research. And
DJI has finally...
I will mention that the Action 5 probably has better image quality, and you can find it at a fairly discounted price on Insta360's website. You see you can buy a refurbished kit for $385, so there's definitely some sales to be had if you buy one of these instead. Do you really need the smaller camera? I don't know, probably not. This would probably be more than good enough, and you could probably find one even used for a pretty good price.
Finally step things up with the Nano, and I'd say this is the first thumb-sized camera that I'd actually consider using on a real shoot. The footage looks really good even when you view it on a bigger screen, and this is because of the relatively large sensor. It's 1/1.3 inches, which means you can use it in lower light scenarios and still get smooth shots that aren't ruined by high ISO noise. You can also record in 4:3 mode just like the Osmo Action and Pocket cameras, which is great when you need to use the same footage for horizontal and vertical, or when you're just shooting something that's difficult to frame. You can shoot in that 4:3 mode at up to 50 frames per second. The Nano does shoot slow motion up to 4K 120, which is pretty amazing for a camera this size. I didn't see a noticeable crop in my footage at any frame rate. The thing to keep in mind though is the stabilization will turn itself off when you're shooting at 120p. The
Colors look really nice on this Nano.
Nano is waterproof, and DJI says it will work up to 10 meters, and the Vision Dock is IPX4 rated, which means it's splash proof, but it shouldn't go underwater. So feel free to bring the Nano to the beach, just don't dunk the monitor underwater. Now, it isn't new for action cameras to have great image stabilization. I just thought I'd show some examples of the handheld shots I was able to do with the Nano. You can definitely avoid using a gimbal if you do a good, smooth ninja walk. What I found really helpful was the horizon balancing stabilization, which which gives you a perfectly level horizon even if you aren't holding the camera perfectly level, but it does crop the image a bit to compensate.
I really do like that mode. Having a nice straight
You can get a pretty
horizontal
clean
lines
image in
is
low
something
light with
I
the Osmo
value.
Nano because it has a large sensor for a camera this size. Here's some sample shots from dusk at the beach. I shot these in normal video mode, and I set the shutter manually to 1/50th of a second because that slower shutter lets more light in. The main thing to remember though with the slower shutter is that the stabilization is not going to work as well. So you'll want to move slower and more smoothly with the camera so that you don't get unwanted motion blur in the footage. The Osmo Nano has a built-in mic, which is what you're hearing right now, and it works perfectly fine for simple vlogging scenarios like this if you just want to walk around and talk without having to worry about any extra gear. I wouldn't recommend it for any situations with a lot of wind or where you want to get further from the camera, but for this kind of simple scenario, it is just fine. You can also connect up to
That segment there, I wonder how much he processed that audio. Does not sound straight out of camera, if I'm being honest.
2 mics from the DJI Mic series to the Nano with no external receiver needed. So basically you just put your mics in pairing mode and they will connect automatically. And you can even see a display of the mic's internal battery and storage. Now you're hearing the audio from the Mic 2 on my shirt, and it's connected wirelessly to the Osmo Nano. So one thing that you should be aware of though, if you want to preview the video of what you're shooting, you do have to connect the Vision dock, the little screen, to the Osmo Nano camera in order to get video preview while you're using an external mic. So basically, once that mic is connected, you have to connect both parts of the Osmo Nano, the monitor and the camera, in order to get live video monitoring. And you do still get some pretty good range from your audio. I'm going to test it out right now. I am walking away quickly, going further and further. Let's say I'm about 100 yards away, and now I'm about to lose sight of the camera. So this is how it sounds. Practically speaking, you don't really have to worry about range though, because I would never go that far from the Osmo Nano when I'm recording audio because it's a wide angle lens. If you go too far, you won't even see yourself in the shot.
This next package can record all your conversations with a single click of a button, which is why it goes everywhere with me now. At the size of about a damn credit card only, it's made of metal, feels really premium like an actual tool, as it essentially records the conversations happening around.
Another thing I want to talk about here is the optional ND filters. These are like sunglasses for your camera, allowing a slower shutter in bright light. Here's a shot I did without the ND filter, and here's a shot with ND. Notice how without the ND filter you have no motion blur, so it looks like your typical phone or action cam footage. And with the ND filter, the motion looks more smooth and natural. To install these filters, you unscrew the glass protective filter, and then you screw in an ND filter to replace it. Then you set your shutter speed to twice the frame rate. For instance, if you're shooting 24p, your frame rate should be 1/50th. For 30p, you should use 1/60th, and so on. If you're shooting 120 frames a second, your shutter speed should be 1/240th of a second. So if you're serious about shooting cinematically with your Nano, I highly suggest getting the ND filter kit. Okay, now for the fun stuff. There's a lot of ways to creatively mount the Nano because it is so tiny and because it has a lot of accessories for mounting. So let's try some stuff out and see what we get. The Nano fits just about anywhere because it is so tiny. So let's demonstrate that by doing a quick shot inside a coconut. All I had to do was drop the Nano in the coconut, check my framing with the Vision dock, and then open the coconut to get this unusual angle. It also works with fries. Good luck getting this shot with your Alexa, Mr. Deakins. The Nano is magnetic on the side and on the back, which makes it really
Definitely a lot of use cases I see this being useful. Are there any other action cameras that have a magnetic base on it? Yeah, I mean, I guess most of them would be, right? Like, where's my Action 3? I have an Action 3 somewhere. But yeah, I believe all of them should be.
easy to mount without any other accessories needed. So as long as you have something metal nearby, you can get a well-framed shot. For this shot, I just dropped the Nano on this metal chair, and
I guess really the benefit of this is the placement of the magnet being on its backside instead of the bottom of it. because if it's at the bottom of it, it's pointing at the ground. This is facing outward.
I didn't even bother to fix the horizon because I used the horizon balancing stabilization, and the Nano fixed that horizon for me. The suction cup is perfect for smooth surfaces like tables, and it has an adjustable ball head on top for getting the perfect angle. So we could film ourselves eating while still being able to check our framing out on the screen. The magnetic necklace is super convenient for getting a quick POV shot. All you have to do is wear the necklace under your shirt and then drop the Nano on it and you're ready to go. I left the vision dock on the suction cup here to easily preview my framing. The necklace is perfect when you want a chest level POV shot with both your hands in the frame.
I could see this camera being really nice, being mounted in like a camera hot shoe. I'm really trying to keep myself from buying this camera. I don't need it, but it'd be really nice for behind the scenes content. I have to really keep myself from spending some money on this.
You can magnetically attach this tripod / GoPro mount, which has flip out GoPro attachment tongs. Or if you have some kind of tripod with a 1/4 inch attachment on top, you can just screw in the Nano, and then you have an ultra lightweight travel tripod setup. The magnetic headband mount has a nice cushion for your forehead, and you can quickly drop the Nano on it and then adjust the angle. So this is really great for getting easy POV shots. Another option for POV shots is this hat clip mount, which attaches to the brim of your hat, and it lets you get POV shots like this one. You can also get creative with where you clip the mount. I used it for an easy dog POV shot here.
I've definitely done that.
Then I clipped it to the dog harness, and I got a reverse POV. Then I flipped around the Nano on that magnetic mount, and I got this front view angle.
That's a view that I was capturing of my dog. Actually hilarious watching to see exactly what she does when I leave the house. She ran straight to look for food and then fell asleep. What a surprise.
Since the Nano is so small and it can get clean shots in lower light environments, it's great for getting hidden camera type shots in places where you don't want to attract attention. For instance, we filmed several shots in this bookstore without anyone noticing. First, I mounted the monitor so that it faced me. Then I turned off notification sounds. Then I put the Nano behind some books. Then I did all my settings on the monitor, bumping up the ISO a bit to 400 and checking my framing. And this is the final result. Next,
for doing content like that, you can just use your iPhone. If you have an Apple Watch, you can even frame the shot and view it and start the capture on your Apple Watch. It's an option. Don't always need to buy the latest and greatest, ladies and gentlemen.
Magnetically attach the Nano
Way better
to a
image quality
bookshelf,
too if it's one of the
and here's
newer
the
iPhones.
shot that I got. And for this one, I used the hat clip as a mini tripod, which allowed me to tilt the camera down a bit. Then I placed the monitor on a lower shelf for previewing the framing, and I filmed us reading a book. Here's one using the suction cup mount, another easy shot. I was even able to get a shot on an escalator by sticking the suction cup to the handrail. I just had to remember to grab the camera before the end of the ride. Finally, let's talk about time-lapse. The Osmo Nano has a dedicated time-lapse mode, and I did some test shots using the 3-second interval with a 1.5-second shutter speed. To get the
Reminder again, watch my main channel video where I review the XM5 and I compare it to the Fuji X100 V6. Please run that one up, give it a like, and if it's your first time watching, subscribe. I do lives like this whenever there's a notable release. And I try to not clickbait anyone here like a lot of other channels. So if you appreciate this sort of content, please come back and let's hang out again once more.
Correct exposure, I added an ND8 filter, and then I just set down the Nano and I let it record for a while. Much easier than using a camera on a tripod. I was able to attach it to metal surfaces and easily get time lapses without attracting any attention. I could even shoot a hyperlapse on this tram. I used the hat clip and I attached the Nano to the front window, and nobody noticed my tiny camera and it didn't block anybody's view. I ended up getting the perfect perspective for a classic Hong Kong hyperlapse. And here's a daytime version using that same technique. So that's my first look at the Osmo Nano. I'll definitely be keeping it in my bag at all times because it is so small and versatile. Links are in the video description if you want to find out more. Otherwise, please click like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Communicate in English easy.
All right, well, I think we've looked at that good amount now. Maybe let's just go back to the GoPro and just look over that a little more before we finish this video off. Let's see, GoPro Max.
All right, let's try something
All
different.
right, iPhone 8.
Guess who is back? GoPro's back, baby. This is GoPro Max 2. True 8K 30 360 video in 10-bit GP log. Capture 29 megapixel 360 photos and record 3.
One interesting thing about this release too is that they released for the exact same price that they released their previous version 5 or so years ago. So it's pretty good that they're actually not increasing the price, and in order for them to be competitive, they definitely had to keep a price tag around the DJI Osmo 360 range, I think. And yeah, this is really their last chance to try and save the company. Do I think it's enough? It's really tough to say. Would I pick this over the Osmo 360? Probably, actually. So yeah, I think it beats the Osmo 360 by just a little bit, and I think it actually does beat the Insta 360 as well. So maybe this does save the company. Maybe it does. It's just they're so similar in a sense that I have a bit of trouble looking at this release as it being like a groundbreaking release for GoPro, but I think it potentially is the best one on the market now. Believe it or not.
60 audio. It has replaceable lenses that are super easy to take off and put back on, and it doesn't require resolution that is marketed as 8K, which is still technically not 8K, but what we call 8K. So they found a way to capture a bigger image with each sensor. The effective pixels are equal to 8K. Now let's take a look at them side by side. These are the images that come directly out of the camera, so it is not fixed in post, as they say. When we compare GoPro Max 2 to Insta360 X5 in these controlled conditions, I see much more noise on X5 and much more detail on Max 2. Coming out of
an Insta360 X5 also has no true log, and that's pretty big. You're losing out on a lot of color data by not having that. Although if you're not into log workflows, then it's not going to make much of a difference for you. And look at this chromatic aberration on the Insta360.
Max 2 still looks more detailed
Huge amount
and nicer.
right here.
When we look at the right side, the grill on the speaker and the writing that says positive grid is readable on Max 2. However, on X5, it is not. By the way, I adjusted the white balance on Max 2 for this comparison. One positive thing I see on X5 is is that because it is oversampled footage, it has less chromatic aberration compared to Max 2. Compared to Osmo 360, Osmo 360 has more detail, but if you look at the bottom of the color chart, you can see some issues that GoPro Max 2 doesn't exhibit. When we look at the left side, Osmo 360 seems to have more detail, and I believe this is due to replaceable lenses.
Looks like I see some chromatic aberration as well on the GoPro Max 2 now, Osmo 360. No chromatic aberration.
I believe the cameras with fixed lenses seem to have better detail towards the edges. Especially when we look at the right side, this becomes much more obvious. By the way, there's no night mode on Max 2, and when I let the ISO go as high as it can, the footage becomes pretty bad. But if you keep your settings in control, you can get good shots with Max 2 in low light situations. Especially with the help of and Osmo 360 was able to record.
So this was interesting.
For 88 minutes, and then it ran out of battery and shut down. This thing is designed really nicely. It looks during these tests around 20 minutes, and I did this test couple.
This is interesting that he's getting those results, because I believe the other test we watched, it ended up beating the 360 and then the Insta 361.
Both times, and
very
it was
interesting.
Around 20 minutes.
This overheating test.
For comparison, X5 overheated in 45 minutes, and Osmo 360 was able to record for 88 minutes, and then it ran out of battery and shut down. This thing is designed really nicely. It looks fantastic. It looks like it means business. It is a little heavier than Osmo 360, but it is lighter than Insta360 X5. Camera is set to per second with GoPro LAD. It like this.
So the comparison in the studio is really going to make a pretty big difference, although apparently there is actually a pretty good new plugin now for DaVinci, so a lot of people could potentially be using that. I'm not going to be lazy here and just mention that without figuring out what it is. Let's figure out, what is this called, this plugin? Maybe it's Reframe? It's discontinued. Okay, well, that's great. I think it's Carta VR, but I thought someone was saying that there was a new one that was developed. I'll have to look into that another time. Well, I don't have a 360 camera anymore. I returned mine.
Let's show you something on the
due to the exporting issue with the DJI Studio.
GoPro Max 2. So in the app, I can go to the preview. Hit enable preview. View what's going on. You tap on the live view and it connects via Wi-Fi, and then that's when you start seeing what's going on. But in order to do that, I have to stop this. I'm going to stop this, so we're going to keep on recording with the phone. Now I'm going to hit enable preview. Here I am. Let's hit record and continue recording. Welcome back. I can see everything. This is very nice. If I want to change this down, and here we go. ISO is set to 100 to 800. Shutter speed is set to auto. Everything, yeah, also white balance is set to auto. 2, 1, here we go. Right now what you're hearing is coming from DJI Exist, and I'm really glad it entered the market on time, because seriously, we need competition. We need competition.
All right, well, I think that's about all I'm going to get into today. We've done some pretty good looks at all of these cameras that were released today, I think that the GoPro Max 2 is pretty good. The replaceable lenses are nice, but be aware that there's some flaring, and it seems like it doesn't necessarily stitch the lenses out all that well when you turn it on certain angles. So that's interesting. I am happy with the price that they're releasing this camera at. I think it's going to be a pretty bad day in the market for DJI in regards to having competition, and also Insta360. Insta360 is not necessarily my favorite company. I don't necessarily recommend anyone buy their cameras from their website because they have no return policy whatsoever in regards to returning items to them after you've opened the box. And I think they're the only camera company out of all the ones mentioned that have business practices like this, not to mention that they also have told reviewers that they were not able to disclose that it was like a paid advertisement. So pretty hard to support a company like that. I think the business practices from GoPro are a lot better, and I would recommend buying their products over Insta360. And DJI is also good as well, with really great return policies going on now to DJI Nano. It was a good camera, and I think it's a pretty good competitor to the Insta360 Go or Ultra. But there is that one issue in regards to storage that you're going to really have to make some careful decisions which one you want to buy based on its internal storage limitations. Don't go for the 64 gigabyte one unless you really want to shoot really short bursts of video. If you want to shoot any sort of long form content, buy the 128 DJI Nano camera instead of the 64. But if you're just doing small little short bursts, maybe you can get by with the 64, but be aware that you're going to have to offload your footage, and that is going to create some pretty big downtimes for you. Okay. Anyways, that is all. I should mention as well that the DJI Nano is also cheaper by like a significant amount. I think like $150 US less. The Insta360 Go Ultra is just too expensive. I don't know where they're getting their pricing from, but it's far more expensive than most of the other brands. And I think they honestly just pay a ton of money to have people promote their products, and that's where they kind of put that extra cost that they forward on to the customer. Anyways, that is all. Links are in description. Please like and subscribe to me. It's really hard to get this channel moving off, and it's hard to even get people to respond. Looking at the comments for this video, you'll probably see there's next to none. So come join me for my next live. I would really appreciate it. If you're watching the video after the fact, thank you for coming here. I will be putting in some notes on my news channel, devinzacharias.com/news. Look forward to seeing you all there. Anyways, that is all. Take care. Going to work on some main channel videos now. Please like and subscribe.